we knew going in that it was obviously that it was going to be an action comedy, and we decided, myself, Austin the DP, and then Matthew the writer, we decided to treat it as a comedy first. And then once we kind of figured out the tone of the comedy, then we decided how to embellish that and work that with when it came to the action. So we wanted to make sure that we built the action around the comedy and then created that tone even within the action, both the stunts, the choreography, the camera work, that nature. So we started with the comedy and balanced the action around it.
I think when you introduce comedy into a film like that, it takes you somewhere else, would you say?
It really does. Oh, 100%. It was a very different, I've done so many different action movies that were straight action movies, and being able to do it with comedy was completely different than anything we'd ever done before, and it made it a whole lot of fun. It made the action, we were able to kind of go over the top and enhance a lot of things that we might not otherwise do, and it just made the set a whole lot, the whole vibe of the set was a whole lot more fun, which I think then translated into the movie.
So, Jon, you got a great team of actors and actresses there to deliver the story. Could you comment on them and why, let's say, why Melissa Leo, for example?
So it was when I had actually worked with Melissa for as a producer, but not as a director. And when Matthew presented the script and I was reading the role of Siobhan, I knew immediately. I wasn't even all the way through the script, and I was like, my God, Melissa would be amazing at this, because Siobhan is very, she's got a sharp tongue and a sharp wit. And she's sort of an anchor piece for the rest of the cast. And I thought Melissa would just be incredible at that. Of course, she was. Antonio is just Antonio. I mean, Antonio is such a genuinely talented person. He's a really friendly man. He's very naturally funny in person. And so when we got to play with his character, he had so many ideas, and there was lots of little funny things. I mean, inherently he was very funny and he could bring a lot, but then he would just find these little nuances and these moments and some of these blocking things. There was a scene where he's supposed to be talking to this girl and he's sitting on the edge of a couch, and the camera pulls back to reveal this very awkward scenario of this girl tied up with tape over her mouth, but he's sitting on the edge of a couch like this talking to her. And it was funny, that actually came out naturally when we were blocking the scene. We were just rehearsing the scene and they were running lines, and he just happened to be sitting there, and he stopped and looked over at me, and I'm like, we absolutely need to block it this way also. And he's like, it's so damn funny. So he was great. Jonathan Rhys Meyers was very interesting, because to talk to Jonathan, he will tell you, I'm not a comic. I'm not funny. I don't do comedy. And I've worked with Jonathan before, and he and I spent a lot of time working on it, a lot of time talking about it. But Jonathan, I was like, Jonathan, just trust us. Just go with it and find it and flow with it. And I'm your trapeze net. If you fall, I'll catch you. We'll put you back up there. And so Jonathan worked through some things to kind of let himself naturally go and have fun with it and just try things out. And I thought he was hysterical. I thought he brought so much that we haven't seen Jonathan Rhys Meyers do before.
So, Jon, you also you worked with Antonio in the past, so I guess you have something going, a relationship, a friendship, no?
Yeah, that was our third. Yeah, that was our third movie together, and I know it felt really good, because when Antonio, the producers had pitched Antonio a variety of movies, and he recognized the writer's name from one of our previous movies, and he asked them, he said, is Jon directing this movie amongst these packages he got? And they said, yeah, Jon's directing that one. And he goes, well, then done. I haven't even read it yet, but that's the one we're gonna do. So yeah, Antonio and I become friends, and we've got a rapport now, and we're actually working on putting a fourth one together now also.
That's really cool. What about festivals? Do they help filmmakers like you, or you don't need a platform? I guess because, I just subscribed to this platform, and it's amazing the amount of films that we can see in festivals. And I was wondering if what do you consider festivals, if they're positive, or how do you see that?
I mean, I see the benefit of festivals. I personally love festivals, particularly coming from the indie world. It depends on the scenario. So like with Cleanup Crew and some of our other more recent ones, we already had distribution in place. And so the distributor, of course, then makes the decisions: is it worthwhile or not to go? And that just becomes about, most distributors have relationships with festivals. So if the timing's right, they might do the premiere at a festival, which is great for publicity. It just didn't work out timing wise. But if I don't have distribution, I'm very much about the film festivals. And I've taken lots of movies to film festivals. I've done the film festival circuits. And for an independent film that's trying to get itself known and trying to get attention, I'm always still a big fan of film festivals.
Will you consider jumping into a different genre, like from action films into drama, or I don't know, romantic comedies?
100%, 100%. I've always, all these years, I've always kind of said I'm a storyteller first. So as long as there's a good character story happening, I'm not as concerned about the genre. And I think just as a filmmaker, I like to be challenged. So I would love to do, I mean, honestly, I've got 2 or 3 dramas I would absolutely love to do. I've got a romantic comedy I would love to do. I'm just interested in telling stories, really good stories, regardless of what the genre is. I've just kind of gotten good or well known, I guess, in doing action, and so that's what kind of keeps coming around. So like even this Cleanup Crew was a whole lot of fun to get to do because of the comedy, and to show that we could do some comedy and have fun with that. And so we've got another action comedy that we're putting together, and I've been presented a drama to direct, and so I'm hoping that I get to do a whole wide variety of drama of genres.
So, John, if you find a briefcase full of money, what would you do?
I'm heading to Costa Rica.